When I had you, I had love at its very best. I was wrong to treat you so badly, and now that part I so deeply regret. You left and went away, and it also took the sunshine out of my life and in my day. I would give anything to have you back. I will even sell my soul to the devil, and that's a fact. Life hasn't been the same without you. Please come back and make this reunion between us come true. I now realize what I had in my life. I was so wrong to let it slip through my hands like grains of sand. If it isn't meant to be again, I will heavily use my imagination and make it reality in my dream. Poetic Ecstasy by Lavan Robinson and Teresa James.
Welcome to P English Literature, a YouTube channel that conveys Amazon, Goodread, blog, and video book reviews coupled with interviews with authors. It's a perfect channel for book lovers, authors, and writers generally. P English Literature, the exact channel for you and me.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and to the review of Poetic Ecstasy by Lavan Robinson and Teresa James. I seem to love this book because it's a love poetry. It's expound on diverse sort of topics relating to the love scene, and I find it quite awesome while I read through it. It was a pleasurable read. This book is actually co-authored by Lavan Robinson and Teresa James. So I'll be reading to you about the authors. Lavan Robinson has written poetry since high school. In January, he published his first poetry book, Song of Lala, followed by his second book, Love's Rhapsody. Lala is Robinson's poet. He loves poetry and uses it to inspire people and bring them closer to God. You can find Lala performing at open mic and on podcast. Also, you can find his poetry and prose throughout social media in numerous poetry groups. Lavan is working on short stories and play now with hopes to write movie scripts. Lavan loves poetry because poetry shows him. And now about Teresa James. Teresa James is known for poetry and art. Shared throughout social media as Laugh of a Poet, where you can actually interact with her. She is passionate about the creativity and beauty of poetry. She mostly writes short poems about love and relationship. She is a mother of 7 children, a horticulturist, a philanthropist. While going through heartbreaks, struggles, and grief throughout life, she learned to write her emotion down on paper to vent and release pain. She now bleed ink by writing and sharing through her poetry. I actually read an ebook version of Poetic Ecstasy on my Kindle app, and I so much enjoyed my time while I read through it. This book is actually intrinsically centered on the theme of love or the theme of relationship, heartbrokenness, betrayal when it comes to love issue. And the most of the poems are actually centered on the ideas of love, of affections, and through love amidst betrayal. Some poems in this collection resonate with the author's idea on who a poet is. I specifically love this poem because it seems to express the characteristics and feature that define a poet in the author's perspective or in the narrator's perspective. Some other poems also resonate with heartbrokenness, like I said earlier on, and the issue of reconciliation. I found some poems having a desperate tone relating to that of a old-time lover who is seeking to reconcile with, the old-time lover so they can be together again. Most of the poems is full, the tone of the poem rather, is full of, promises of wishes. Some tones are quite desperate in nature, while some are absolutely fascinating. I'm a poetry lover, but I haven't really taken my time too much to explore poetry and the theme of love that much. And I would say that I'm not disappointed while I read through Poetic Ecstasy because it is, absolutely a love sort of poem. It is a sort of poem that is centered on the idea of relationship, the issue attached to relationship, and some of the emotions of the afterwards or the negative impact or positive impact that some relationships are centered on. Another thing that I would love to say about this book is that it has a tone that is somewhat sensual in nature, it is somewhat erotic in nature, and at some point I laughed when I was reading through some lines and stanzas that it asks. And another thing I would love to say about the stanza is that it is written figuratively, like there are some sections that are characterized with the use of idiomatic expression, and some parts are just full of desperate tones when it comes to someone pleading desperately for love. I've actually denote that Teresa James seems to be a love sort of poet. She loves writing, poetry in the theme of love. And that reminds me of one of her books that I previously read titled A Heart of a Rose, which I find quite intriguing. I left a review of A Heart of a Rose in Amazon with a caption that it is a redeemic and a beautiful collection of poetry, and I can see that some of the poems in this book seem or stylishly resonate with some of the poem in Poetic Ecstasy, but have some sort of different tone imbibed in it. Some poems in The Art of a Rose depict someone who has a pure art now expressing his or herself on a piece of paper. Some poems ought to resonate with the trait of becoming a poet, and I found most of the poem quite, amazingly written. The description and the crafting of each poem made me emphasize the sort of, action that it will be imbibed with. Supposedly, it is being performed. I actually love Poetic Ecstasy coupled with Teresa James' general writing, like that of A Heart of a Rose and a little poetic. So, this book's actually quite intriguing, and I feel that lovers of, poetry that has to do with the theme of love will really find pleasure reading through this book. I don't want to spoil it, I just want to make a short video book recommendation of the book. Poetic Ecstasy, so you can have a glimpse of what it's all about. And if you're a fan of love poetry, you might want to check it out on Amazon. I left a link in the description part of this video if you'd like to get a copy of Poetic Ecstasy on Amazon. If you watch this video to this point and you're yet to click on the subscribe button, I want to urge you to please click on the subscribe button over there. Also consider liking this video and sharing with your friends. Thank you very much for watching my short video book review of Poetic Ecstasy by Lavan Robinson and Teresa James. See you in my next video.